this now, the South African National Defence Force is expected to brief the media on the withdrawal of troops from the DRC. For more on this now, we take you to reporter Khayelihle Khumalo, who joins us for a live update. So, Kaya, what is the significance of this withdrawal and what prompted it?
Well, absolutely, Mkhulis. We're expecting Minister Motshekga really to give comprehensive details in terms of their plans for the withdrawal. As you know, that the SADC leaders had that virtual meeting in March where they decided to pull out the troops from the DRC, especially because since M23 really has captured swathes of land in the eastern parts of the DRC. So, but also the priority for the SADC leaders is to really just make sure that they give a diplomatic solution a chance in terms of letting the Congolese to overcome these particular challenges. But also what has been very clear from the side of semi-DRC is that it's quite key for them when they withdraw the troops in phases, but also they do get the personnel, but also their military equipment as well. Very key assets, especially for a country like South Africa. As you know, that it's part of the troop contributing countries alongside Tanzania and also Malawi, and it's quite important as well to make sure that they try to really do this in phases, but making sure that the process is fairly efficient and smooth. As you know, that the initial plan was to make sure that they rehabilitate the Goma airport, but obviously there were setbacks and the M23 rebels were not able to agree to that effect. So now we do understand that the troops will be driving all the way to Rwanda, then they'll be heading all the way to Tanzania. So that's when they will have an opportunity to go to their respective countries. So Minister Motshekga will be joined by the top generals from the SANDF during the course of the briefing.
And Kaya, having seen the story unfold, you know, as it's been playing out in the public domain as well, what are some of the anticipated humanitarian consequences for, you know, civilians in the DRC, you know, as the SANDF troops withdraw, especially in regions where they were providing protection or logistical support? Kaya, let's give it another bash. Hopefully you can hear us this time. Talk to us about maybe some of the consequences for civilians in the DRC, particularly where SANDF, you know, was providing protection or logistical support.
Well, obviously, it's a fairly dire situation. In fact, it's one of the biggest crises in terms of the humanitarian. And as you know, that the eastern part of Congo has been restive for some time. You go back to 2023 when the SADC leaders decided to deploy this particular mission. It was all about making sure that they stabilize that particular area, especially also where you have a big concern of the proliferation of the militia groupings that are really all over in this part of the DRC. So it is indeed a very big task facing the leaders now in the DRC, but also even the SADC leaders, especially because we have seen successive joint meetings between SADC alongside their counterparts from the East African community in terms of making sure that they craft a solution, but also prioritizing a diplomatic route, but also encouraging a dialogue between all the groupings, whether it's statutory actors, but also the non-statutory actors as well. So it is quite a very big task, and also you know that MONUSCO as well is involved in this particular area. So it is really quite a very massive task at hand facing the DRC.
Of course, that's our Khayelihle Khumalo watching that story for us. We will be taking you there as it continues to develop throughout the course of the morning.